creature of our race, by each featuring his face. Look at him, I rest my case, for there you are. And it matters not to me what part of town you come from. We but here, you've made it here at all. Here within this garish parish called the music hall. There you are. How very glad we are that there you are. It isn't who you are, but where you are. And there you are. And you will need to see how fine and where you are. There you are. Angela! Oh, Angela, darling, where are you?
I'm up here in the picnic field.
Why, hello there, dear. And who's that with you then?
I'm standing with a gent who seems singularly bent on attaching both his hands to body.
Alice!
Considering the lack of a domesticating chap, and I let him do exactly as I please.
Hi!
I've a lady down in front who's handed me her latchkey. Surely she must know best, does it?
Victor!
Wealthy people will well know me more or less.
Deirdre!
I have friends eyes to show me in my fancy world.
There you are. Now kiss me name, there's no there you are. Just slightly less of is where you are. Yes, there you are. And this will be all should be for well where we are. So any frequent thought we must of us. We cannot pray your trust is blinding us. So bring your feeling just unwinding us. A wanting wicked frame unbinding us. Reminding us. See what you say on love. Be careful where you be. And not the just we care how you got in. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and welcome, a very warm welcome to all of you here on the most thrilling of evenings at the Music Hall Royale. Tonight, dear ladies and gentlemen, we have the privilege of performing, for your approval, the premiere performance of The Mystery of Edwin Drood. This being a musicale with dramatic interludes. Now, as you are no doubt aware, our very own Mr. Charles Dickens was full halfway through the creation of the greatest mystery novel of our time when he committed the one ungenerous deed of his noble career. He died, leaving behind not the slightest hint as to the outcome to his bizarre and uncompleted puzzle. Tonight, however, ladies and gentlemen, when together we reach that point in our story in which Charles Dickens wrote no more, we shall be asking you to vote upon key questions regarding the outcome of our plot. Our company will then make its most earnest of efforts to meet this supreme challenge, to contrive an ending in accordance with your specifications. But come on then, let's all be as vulgar and uncivilized as is legally possible. Kick off your boots, loosen your corsets, and enjoy yourselves. Oh, and by the way, for those of you gentlemen among us who have arrived alone tonight, might you need companionship up and through the final curtain, or beyond? You need only speak to our stage manager, Mr. James Crockle, whose pleasure it is to see
that you need never be lonely again. I'll fix you up later, sir.
Oh, look, Jim, he needs fixing up now. His tongue's hanging out. But, gentlemen, please do remember, these sparkling and vivacious ingenues are not salaried employees. So we do ask that you contribute generously to their theatrical studies. But that you return all goods tomorrow to the theater, none the worse for wear. But let us get on with this evening's bill of fare. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, the completed musical rendition of The Mystery of Edwin Drood. Cloistrum, the ancient, mouldering cathedral city of Cloistrum. Not a particularly encouraging scene for the Christmas season now upon us. A wintry shudder goes through the giant elms as they shed a gush of tears. And here we are in the home of Mr. John Jasper, choir master of the Cloisterham Cathedral. Choir master, composer, organist, and vocal instructor, John Jasper was blessed with a voice the angels themselves might envy. And who better to essay the role of Mr. John Jasper this evening than our own Mr. Clive Paget?
Another trifling day, one more circumstancing day of blinding pain. All grinds my brain down quite mad, and not all that bad, considering superb the staring earth you ever had. To curse aloud in church or choke each blood with roses my your way. If I just a man can have bad dreams, and not be all he seems, yet not be far removed from all the numerous so extremes. Sometimes I think that sanity is just a plastic man. A man can go quite mad. Unblessed are the dawn, one ceaseless, peaceless lull, some wondrous night, storm-struck, thunderous light, will cast me right. A sculpture lacking arms, a sorcerer lacking charms, a feat too frightens no one, for there's no one that he harms, whose touch is touch and only respite from the dim tableau. Knowing this is so, I hide myself in thought, where one cannot be caught, and feed on dreams that contradict each edict I've been taught. And if someday I lose my way and mind, you'll find me glad. A man could go quite mad, quite mad.
Clive Paget, ladies and gentlemen. John Jasper eagerly awaits the arrival of his beloved nephew, and the title character of our evening's diversion, young Edwin Drood.
Hello, Uncle!
Why, there's the lad now.
My dear Uncle.
Ladies and gentlemen, your eyes do not deceive you. Devotees of male impersonation are far more used to seeing Miss Nutting in a top hat and tails when she does her inimitable rendition of Aren't I Half a Toff? Tonight, however, ladies and gentlemen, she hides her distinctive form beneath the garb of young Edwin Drood. Ladies and gentlemen, London's leading male impersonator and our guest artiste, Miss Alice Nutting.
Any gooder, Uncle?
You forget, Ned, that uncle and nephew are words prohibited here by express agreement.
Of course, you're right, John. After all, we do only have half a dozen years or so between our ages. Hello, Jack. Don't drink yet. I must propose a toast.
A toast to what, Ned?
He asked to what? To Rosa.
Rosa?
To the fair Miss Rosabud. Surely you have not forgotten that Rosa and I are soon to be wed.
It has not quite slipped my mind.
Yes, a tedious ceremony in your creaking cathedral, John. Then, off my wonderfully pretty child bride to dusty Egypt, where I intend to shake it things up a bit.
It is certain, then? Egypt seems a desperate great distance.
Indeed it is, John. This portrait of Rosa's is not one of my better efforts, yet you choose to hang it here. In heaven's name, why?
Because it reminds me of you, Ned, and the happiness I wish you and Rosa.
Oh, I'm sure we'll be quite happy. Though our courtship suffers from an unavoidable flatness, owing to the fact that my dead-gone father and her dead-gone father had as good as married us at birth. Why the devil couldn't they have left us alone?
Tut, tut, dear boy.
Tut, tut! Oh, it's all very well for you, Jack. You have the freedom to love whomsoever you choose!
Don't stop, dear fellow. Do go on.
Oh, have I hurt your feelings, John?
How could you have hurt my feelings?
Oh, good heavens, Jack! You look frightfully ill. There's a strange film come over your eyes.
I have been taking medicine for a pain, an agony that overcomes me. I've been forced of late to seek treatment in London. Fear not, the effects will soon be gone.
Dear uncle.
Then take it as a warning. And Ned, Edwin, this is a confidence between us.
It shall be sacredly preserved, John.
I have confided in you because...
Because we are fast friends. And because you love and trust me as I love and trust you. Both hands, Jack. My dearest Uncle Jack.
My dearest nephew Ned, a life without your friendship would be life as good as dead. The winds of hell may blow, but as you well may know, I'll heed your call, no need too small to face the fire below. For you,
For you,
for you,
for you. Two kingsmen born in bronze. We know no next of kin, and yet we know no one is closer in the skin. The love that flows between us, the bonds that tie us twain. Two kingsmen were no longer slain, and we remain.
my dearest nephew Ned.
My dearest Uncle Jack, if they were to get you, I would beg to take the back. A loyal lad in mine would be glad to die. If my mind says with extra faithful blood for you I die, 'tis true for you. Two kingsmen born in bronze, we know no next of kin, and yes we know no one that's close to be the skin. The love that flows between us, the bonds that tie us twain. Two kingsmen born, all others bleed, and we remain. 'Tis true for you. Two kingsmen born in two.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes, thank you for that splendid tour. But to continue our story, Edwin Drood is visiting Cloistrom to pay regards to the fair Miss Rosa Budd, his bride-to-be, who, like he, is an orphan. She resides in Cloistrom's most respectable seminary for young ladies, aptly, if not correctly named, the Nun's House. And who, dear ladies and gentlemen, more suited to essay the role of that blossoming bud yet to be plucked, the unspeakably lovely Miss Deirdre Peregrine.
Rosa, the happiest of birthdays to you. I only pray I may be able to say these words on each of your birthdays.
I fear that is not likely, since as you know, your own nephew Edwin and I will be departing for Egypt once we are married.
It was only a wish, Rosa. How lovely you look. I have awaited your birthday with eagerness.
Eagerness, Mr. Jasper?
Yes, your voice will no longer be as subject to the fluctuations of adolescence. And in what condition is your voice today, my dearest student?
As my tutor, I think that question should best be answered by you, Mr. Jasper. Shall I sing the Mozart?
No. I have composed a song specially for you on the occasion of your birthday. A choir master's paid me what it is. My life's blood is all I can afford to offer.
Oh, Mr. Jasper, I could not sing these words. It would not be proper.
Why, whatever can you mean?
I am not worthy of it.
Ah, well, as your music master, that should be my decision. From the beginning, please.
Between the very dead of night and day, upon this
is lovely, Rosa.
Thank
But-
you, son.
But lovely will not do. When you sing the words, you must make me feel you mean them. Once again, if you please.
Between what every day of night and day, upon your steely sheet. Oh, I can't bear this! I'm frightened! Take me away!
Everything all right?
It's nothing. It's all over. Don't speak to her for a minute, and she'll be well.
She's not used to an audience, Mr. Jasper. Besides, you are such a conscientious master, and I believe you make her afraid of you. No wonder.
No wonder.
You'd be afraid of him under similar circumstances, wouldn't you, Miss Landless?
Not under any circumstances.
Ladies and gentlemen, your own fiery spirits, the unpredictable Miss Janet Conover and Mr. Cedric Moncrief.
Good afternoon, Reverend Crispa.
Ah, yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Jasper. And if I may introduce young Neville Landless. He and his twin sister Helena have just arrived here from Ceylon, where they no longer have any family. Neville has been entrusted to my care, and Miss Helena will be living here at the nun's house.
Welcome to Cloisterham, Mr. Landless.
I'm afraid young Master Neville has been given over to me to call his rather... Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
His rather hot-tempered nature, and to have to make a new beginning here in Cloisterham.
You and your sister lost your parents recently, Mr. Landless?
Their mother died when they were quite young. Now their stepfather has crossed over as well.
I'm most sorry.
There is no need for you, bright gentlemen, to console me. As it happens, it was well my stepfather died when he did, or I might have killed him.
The newest member of our company, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Victor Grinstead.
I surprise you, sir.
You shock me. Unspeakably shock me.
You never saw him beat my sister. My stepfather was a brute, Mr. Jasper. In desperation, Helena tried on more than one occasion to flee our stepfather's cruel and miserly hand, even disguising herself as a boy, but to no avail. As for myself, I have had from my earliest remembrances to subdue a deadly and bitter hatred, which has made me secret and revengeful. I say, however, sir, your kindness and goodwill have deeply moved me. I pledge to change my ill-tempered ways and break new ground for myself.
Ah, there's the lad. He'll soon blend in, Mr. Jasper.
Your pupil, Mr. Jasper. She sings beautifully.
Thank you.
Your efforts have not been without success.
I trust so, Mr. Landless.
May I inquire if your relation still extends beyond that of pupil and master?
Oh, heavens, no, Neville. Miss Spot is betrothed to young Edwin Drood, Mr. Jasper's nephew.
You do well to cast your eyes and interest in other directions, sir.
I beg your pardon, sir.
No pardon is necessary. However, I must be off. Choir practice, I fear. I wish you well in your new life, Mr. Landless.
Thank you. Thank you indeed. I trust we shall meet again. And I should like to meet this Drood and see what sort of man is worthy of the affection of Miss Butt.
Steady there, lad. Steady.
You are feeling better now, aren't you?
Yes, thank you.
These surroundings, which may seem very secure to you, are new and unsettling to me. You will be my friend, won't you?
I will be as good a friend as a mighty man can be to such a womanly and handsome figure as you.
Who is Mr. Jasper?
He's my Ned's uncle and my music master.
You know that he loves you?
Don't! He frightens me. I feel I am never safe from him. He has made a slave of me with his looks, and he has forced me to keep silent without his uttering a single threat. I fear.
What is it you fear, pretty one?
I fear the moon falls. I fear the night stars. Night times will blind me. Mighty undressed and
Oh, I'm sure we'll hear at least one more reprise of that before we're through, don't you think? But for now, we must travel to far less chaste surroundings, for reasons which will soon become clear, to the wickedest corner in the wickedest hole in the fabric of the city of London. Here, beneath the streets and beneath the contempt, lies the opium den of the Princess Puffer. With its sub-dialects in debauchery, burglary, violence for profit, and murder. And reigning supreme over this blemish in England's fair complexion is none other than the Princess Puffer, who ministrates to her clients' needs and who hears far more than she tells. Essaying the role of the Princess Puffer tonight, dear ladies and gentlemen, is that grand dame of the music hall royale, the queen mother of the red light district, that good woman of ill repute, Miss Angela Prysock.
Crime don't pay. That's what I tells 'em. If it did, would I be here mixing pipes? Well, then I sells 'em for a pint of rotten beer. Throaty cat to pocket throats. Who knows what? To cop some sleep. Dash a face for bleeding topics. Pure disgrace to work so cheap. So I say, don't be a sinner for the price of London's inn. You can't pay for one square dinner with the wages of sin. Sell me some. Who would buy this sack of skin on the whole? Begging your pardon, miss, I'm sure. So, first time out on the town with him, is it? No? Well, never you fear, love. I went out with him numerous times, and whatever he's got in store for you, praise God, it'll be over in an instant. What do they pay you, love? By the note? I went out with him years ago, God love him. You ain't been with better since, have you? He's not been with any since. I've seen girls from gutter families trap rich men with fluttering wings, and they coo, call past the jam, please, over nuptial breakfast trays, over there, in bed, 11, sleeps unreading, spends his days, eyes cast to heaven, spends his nights among this. Begging your pardon, ladies and gentlemen, I almost said, it won't happen again, I promise. Where was I? Oh, yes, So why I say, don't take half measures, do things right, and dig right in this world, there's greater treasures than the wages of sin. I get threats, but seldom offered. If I did, I'd pack it in. You can't fill too many hours with no wages. Oh, come on then. Give your own love some help for the last 9 then, eh? You can do better than that. Get off your bums and give us the notes then.
The meanest room in London. And as the light of day steals into the room, would not the parishioners of Cloisterham be astounded to find, in bed 11, the goodly choir master, Mr. John Jasper?
Woman, I need more Lord wine and quickly. My task is only half finished, and your medicine is less potent than usual.
Laudanum. So you're mixing the medicine with the wine these days. I'll fix it for you now.
Yes. Before I can get to the changes of colors in great landscapes, I must be rid of him.
Who?
Him! Him!
Hey, there's no one there.
There he is! And there I am!
Yes, now, sit back and have yourself a pleasant journey. What did you say? Did you say Rosa Bud?
I can't seem to recall what I said. Can you direct me to the railway station? I seem to be lost.
5 and 3 you owes me.
That seems a large sum for a small courtesy. However, if you are that needy. And the railway station?
The nearest one is in our gate, about 10 minutes of a walk from the river.
I thank you. Incredible.
Who are you then? And what are you?
I wonder how many of you caught that meaningful statement. Why? That sounded suspiciously like a clue to me. Might we have it again, my dear? Yes, once more, please.
Who are you then? And what are you?
What indeed? But for now, we must travel to far less sordid surroundings and meet Cloisterham's leading citizen, the Mayor Thomas Sapsea.
Good afternoon, Mayor Sap.
What? Really? With a sack of what? Oh, well, it's rather inappropriate, don't you think? And once again, who gets straddled? Ladies and gentlemen, your kind indulgences for a short announcement, if you please. You see, it appears that the part of Mayor Thomas Sapsea will not, I repeat, will not be portrayed by Mr. James Hitchens as is stated in your program. Mr. Hitchens tends to appear far more frequently in the back, near the bar in the theatre, than up here in front of the footlights. Therefore, it will come as no surprise to our regulars that once again Mr. Hitchens has been found massively indisposed due to injuries obtained while fighting for a lady's honor. Apparently, the lady wished to keep it. Therefore, my dear ladies and gentlemen, the role of Mayor Thomas Sapsea will be portrayed by none other than your own humble and obedient servant, Chairman. I refer, of course, ladies and gentlemen, to myself, Mr. William Cartwright. I pray this last-minute substitution meets with your approval. Thank you. Might I add, it is far more your luck than mine.
Good afternoon, Mayor Sapsea.
Good afternoon, Reverend Endom.
Ah, yes, these are my new charges from Ceylon. I'm taking them here to meet... Oh, and there he is now. Helena, Neville, I would love for you to meet young Edwin Drood.
Sir.
Sir, I must congratulate you on your good fortune, sir.
Good fortune, sir.
Your betrothal, sir.
Oh, yes, Rosa.
Our young Ned is soon to depart himself for your segment of the globe, Neville. Ceylon, Mr. Drood.
No, but much the same. Egypt.
To make your future, sir.
No, to ensure that Egypt has one. I shall shortly be taking over my family's engineering concern there, and I plan to pull off a miracle.
Pray, what miracle?
The Cairo Transverse, a thoroughfare of commerce and coach travel across the desert to Alexandria.
A monumental task, Mr. Drood.
Yes.
One wonders from where one will obtain, for example, the paving stones.
From the pyramids.
No!
Yes, my studies show that there's enough rock in the top half of the Great Pyramid alone.
This is English blasphemy! Is it not enough that you take our delicate brew of tea leaves and likewise improve it by pouring cow's milk into... Neville, please! Let's not raise our voices here in a...
Wait, what?
Where are we?
Oh. Yes.
Cloisterham High Street.
I meant no offense, sir.
And I did not mean my awkward ways to arouse such emotion, or to offer your splendid feathers, Miss Budd.
Sure, Mr. Landless only feels passionately about his part of the world, Edwin.
As long as he keeps his passions in check.
I am afraid I have not yet adapted to your restrained climate, Master Edwin. Miss Budd,
My uncle has already given me some account of your hot temperament and past, sir. I hope you have left them both behind you.
My reputation precedes me here. A situation I needs must fear. Whatever you're blending in will use my shade of skin. I thought I cleansed my slate at last, but they had disobeyed my past.
What shall I show them? The full effect.
What do I owe them? What they expect? Others is subjects on display in from Ceylon today. Our immigration to this location has brought our station down the mile. This destination, Diva's creation, in rank and file and English are they, and British am I.
British are they, and English am I.
There are two subjects we don't discuss.
One is Armada, the other's us.
And yet I feel his
Our British subjects nonetheless.
from where the mind is trying to tell.
Cape Town or Burma, what's all the fuss? All terra firma belongs to us. British subject bred and born in such a class control. Our immigration, migration, to this destiny is not a state.
It's just as I've been saying. There is distinctive rivalry between my own dear boy and that landless fellow, and I fear his hot-blooded eastern temperament.
Really, Mr. Jasper, you seem to exaggerate the matter.
I would go mad. Do you not realize there is more than one side, one face to all things in nature? Beneath Neville's tainted English accent and adopted English manners, there is a heathen landless, a tribesman landless, a half-blooded, half-bred, half-caste, who would kill as easily as he would comb his sleek hair.
Really, Mr. Jasper, this all seems quite extraordinary.
To the contrary, nothing could be more ordinary, sir. I myself suffer from this sort of duality on occasion. Sometimes I forget things, and in going back to fetch them, half expect to meet myself rounding a corner I've already turned.
And what about me? Having to be your chairman and this male sexy bloke all at the same time. It's downright confusing.
Indeed, like our two-sided Neville landless. I find that I have knocked myself these days. For all I know, I might be due. There's more than room enough for two inside my mind.
I am likewise in the haze of who I am, from scene to scene. What's more, we two before I mean are in a bind.
For is it I or is it me?
And if I'm him and if I'm he, which one of us may not agree on what to do?
And if I take opposing sides within myself and who divides of what is right or wrong,
I'll go with you.
Hippity, bumpity, tuppity, frumpity, tuck to a shilling, twice that to a thorn, and would you not fancy the currency foreign to find the same face on both sides of the coin? One is your uncle for pennies, they give you a two-sided means it's a rule, not exception, and would you not be what the full perception to find the same face on both sides of the coin?
Or even
Heads or tails,
it's up or down,
or black or white,
it's high or low,
or left or right,
or night
or day.
Nature seldom ever fails to boast of hiding, make her hide and undisclosed opposing side. One's dismay.
There's shadows in the shining morn.
If there's a rose, if there's a thorn,
No good as dead as soon as born, and yet we smile.
love's division is perverse.
It seems to work more in reverse.
convinced me, Mr. Jasper. I shall keep my eyes fixed upon this Neverlandless fellow.
A brilliant and original idea, Miss Sapsy. But now I must change. Good day, sir.
Bye-bye. For now, ladies and gentlemen, we must step out of Cloisterham High Street and fall in step with a relic known only to the residents of Cloisterham as Durdles. A gentleman whose knowledge of the cathedral tombs is exceeded only by his capacity for wine and spirits. He is wending his way toward an important assignation.
What's that you say, Bill?
I said an assignation. With Mayor Sapsy, who lives just around behind.
What's that you say, Bill?
I said around behind.
And so have you.
I didn't come here to be insulted.
Well, where do you usually go?
I'm not a complete fool, you know.
Which bit is missing?
You, sir, are next to an idiot.
Pleased to meet you.
Ladies and gentlemen, assaying the role of Durdles tonight, the clown prince of the Music Hall Royale. Your friend, not mine. I give you, and I don't want him back, Mr. Nick Cricker.
Assisted, dear friends. My own young man, Nick Cricker himself.
A warm round of applause, if you please, for Mr. Nick Cricker and his son.
Afternoon, Mayor Sapsy.
Good afternoon, Durdles.
Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. The cough. It's a touch of rheumatism.
Oh, no, no, no. You surely must mean rheumatism.
No, sir. I've been working on your dead wife's grave.
Please refer to the late Mrs. Thomas Sapsy as just that, Durdles. The late Mrs. Thomas Sapsy. That is how I like to refer to her. That is how I like to think of her.
She was 1 in a million.
Oh, no, no, no. 1 in a raffle. But is my wife's tomb ready?
Yes, Governor, the door's almost ready for my inscribing. She'll be much happier once we move to a temporary grave, though it's not been out all damp and the moles are on the guts of ages. There's not much you can do about the worms. They've made a meal of Miss Sapsy.
Yes, yes! What is this thing? This boy?
My protege, Squire. Name of deputy.
I put the lock on your wife's crypt yourself, your lordship.
That's right, I have the keys right here. It's my pleasure to unlock the door and slide your old woman right in there tomorrow. There's enough room for the whole royal family to have afternoon tea.
Yes, yes!
That crypt is a national treasure, your lordship. And if I may make so bold, Mr. Jasper asked if I'd take him down to the crypts to see it.
You may like to add that line to your list of suspicious statements.
Steady on, Bill. We don't want people leaping to conclusions without the facts. Otherwise, we'll be sent off to the races.
No, stop! That is scheduled for later on in the program. We mustn't stop the dramatic momentum we've been building. For now, we... Off to the races! Shut up! For now, we must descend into darkness in hopes of shedding new light upon our curious story as we follow Durdles and Deputy to the graveyard of the Cloisterham Cathedral.
Who's there? Mr. Jasper?
What? Have you been watching me, you cunning devil? I'll defend you!
No!
There. That will serve you.
You murdered him!
What do you say?
Murder! Murder!
Stop speaking such lunacy, Turtles, and help me revive the dear boy. I only pray that...
I'll save you, you blackguard! And I'll stone your eyes out next time, so help me!
Quiet, you young wretch!
Why do you assault me this way, deputy?
You're right to the asylum, Mr. Jasper!
Peculiar lad.
Blame it to his infectious youth. But oh, it's quite good wine you gave me, Mr. Jasper. More potent than I was accustomed to. Did you get a look inside Miss Sapsey's tomb while I was out?
No, I seem to have gotten lost.
I was lost myself in a sort of fitful dream. I dreamed someone touched me and took something from me. Ah, and that is, Miss Sapsey wouldn't like me leaving the keys to the tomb right outside the asylum, now would he? He gave me strict instructions to... Well, seems the key to Miss Sapsey's tomb is missing. What do you think, Mr. Jasper?
I think that I have guests due any moment for Christmas dinner, and a poor guest I not to offer them all the comfort and joy of the season. A happy Christmas to you, Turtles.
And God bless ye, Mr. John Jasper.
Yes, we spent many a bright and chatting afternoons among these silent tombs, eh? My own betrothed? No, Rosa, we're not legally bound to marriage.
Well then, Eddie dearest, let us change to brother and sister from this day forth.
Never to be husband and wife.
Never.
I am honor bound to confess that this thought does not originate with you alone, Rosa.
I know. You haven't been truly happy with our engagement, nor have I.
I am sorry, Rosa.
And I for you, you poor boy.
If only our marriage had not been assured since birth. Perhaps then we would know how to truly feel towards each other.
If we were perfect strangers, how perfect life could be. I know if I adore you, you know if you love me. Too much may seem
Jasper for a while? But of course, why give such bad news on Christmas Eve? But we must be off. He's expecting us for dinner, and I fear there's a storm brewing.
Climate you have here in the cloister room. First snow, and now this threatening storm. The gods must be angry.
God must be angry, Neville, not gods. We use the singular here in England.
What a storm for a Christmas Eve.
Oh yes, just like this the night Rose's mother died.
Neville tells me you were once engaged to Rose's mother, Mr. Crisparkle.
Yes, but I fear I was a bit too Anglican, a bit too angular for her taste. And then, the seaside party. On her second anniversary, but a few months after Rosa was born, she apparently slipped while walking unobserved along the cliffs, and then drowned in the embrace of the ungrateful waves. But enough. Let us all follow in Mr. Jasper's lead and forget our grievances with life and with each other over a sturdy Christmas dinner.
I pray you will forgive the meager merits of my humble table.
Hello, all! Sorry we're late, but we've
Miss
got
Butt, it is wondrous to see you again. Let me take your things.
Uncle, I have no idea you have taken on domestic staff.
Edwin, Mr. Landless will take you seriously.
Now, lads. Rosa, you've no idea what it means to have you in my chambers.
Miss Butt, how is it that in a season of holly, you remind me of the flowering hibiscus?
And how is it you remind me of an inconsistent bacon, Neville? Though your metaphors are quite stale, your manners are uncommonly fresh.
You go too far, sir.
Gentlemen, this is Christmas Eve, and I will tolerate no further unchristian-like behavior between you. Now, this mulled wine is very good stuff indeed. I prepared it specially for you from a recipe I obtained on a recent trip to London.
Well, any port in a storm for me, Uncle.
Any port in a storm. Very good, Edwin. Very good.
Thank you.
None for me, thanks.
Now let us drink deep.
This wine is more potent than usual, Uncle.
Well, I thought you lads would like it. Now let's have no more ill will between you.
Please, Edwin. There's no need for rivalry between us, Neville. You have my friendship if you wish it.
And a Merry Christmas to you, Edwin. The goose is cooked! Miss Butt, I think your next Christmas dinner will be in Regent's.
My God, Landis! Perhaps you should accompany us to Cairo. Rosa and I could use someone to carry our bags.
What?
Perhaps someone better acquainted with the foreign tongue than he is minding his own.
Gentlemen, ladies, please be seated.
Sir, I don't much like your tone that's supercilious near you clearly wear a fine cut than mine. About a waistcoat, one can soon be torn in braggers to maggots feed on you.
Something in this speech seems ominous to me. We don't overreach, pray promise this to me.
Praise to him divine, for this we should be glad.
Won't you try some wine?
No, nothing come from that.
My dearest nephew, I wish to wish you well. The world is yours before you, just like oysters on the shelf.
Landis, as you already know, your blood is hot, but less unsure, less unsure than me. Your history would indicate the past is some have passion through your age. You could discuss, explain.
Something sends a chill like creeps upon my grave. Cast my strength and will completely never save.
But these words they say, bring harm upon the land.
Let us follow day.
No, nothing come from that.
My dearest, deepest friends, may I propose a toast to Rosa Bonnet, Edwin Drood. 3 cheers.
kingdom come, thy will be done.
Which one of you will come?
The lances come like flame, the bone with daggers drawn. I glare at you, there at you, death soon to stare into my name. My wife and share my life, I see you dead, busting rose and red.
I feel it, I feel it. We are friends and yet we'll not soon forget. If our love is dead, have we ever met?
In younger days I hungered for another, Rosa's mother. After Rosa's birth she left this earth, now dust is all I'm worth.
All the time we've got that I'm not dressed in your quite naive, but I perceive these eyes are brighter than they might conceive.
I must stroll down to the river Weir to see the split of nature of the chant. Will you excuse me, uncle?
Of course. I will join you on your walk.
We must retire to the nun's house. Good night, Edwin.
My dear.
Everyone.
Rosa,
Be careful how you tread, Neville.
I shall see the lady safely home.
Will you join us, uncle?
No, Edwin. I have plans I must execute. But I will not let you go in that flimsy coat.
Oh.
You shall take my humble but serviceable caped coat.
Come, Edwin. Your destiny calls.
Well then. Goodbye, uncle.
Goodbye, all!
When shall these three meet again? When, if ever? It is now the next day, Christmas Day to be sure. The storm has subsided, but in its wake there is to be found no trace of the young Edwin Drood.
Mr. Crisparkle! Oh, Reverend, I know something terrible has happened to Edwin.
Let us wait until my assistant Basil reports. You have heard the sentiment voiced, I'm sure, that no news is most certainly good news. And there he is now. Basil, what news?
No news.
There, you see? I don't believe you've met my assistant Basil. His chief occupation is in guiding excursion parties around our church. Quite the showman is our Basil, though tragically misplaced.
Misplaced?
Yes. He carries with him a secret. Now, Rosa, what do you think Mr. Basil has done?
Oh dear, nothing dreadful, I hope.
Mr. Basil has written a play, a tragedy.
The Thorn of Anxiety.
Oh. When will it be performed?
Never. Sometimes I think our Basil takes more pride in its lack of support, like a citizen of Greece who prefers the Parthenon in ruin. Though, I do wish to see it performed someday.
I too, Mr. Basil.
I love the theatrical world, but there are many stages beyond the proscenium. I long to play a larger part.
Then, Basil, why don't you use your enviable creativity to find some accounting for young Ned?
The assignment I eagerly accept.
Oh, my dear, hopeless Edwin.
Oh, how like her mother she looks. Had the Lord seen fit to smile on me, had her mother not married another, nor met her death 2 years later at that pleasure party by the sea, I might have been Rose's.
Father! I need your prayers.
Rise, my child. The cathedral bell summons us.
And is it
significant, Mayor Saxey, that Neville Landless was last seen fleeing the district?
You've convinced me, Mr. Jasper. A secret murderer could indeed be hiding in Cloisterham's most affectionate bosom and... Oh, good evening, madam. Yes, and all signs do indeed point to the young Neville Landless.
My thoughts exactly, sir.
I shall instruct a few strong gentlemen to bring him here, using whatever force is necessary, so that we may question him.
You do that, sir.
We'll find Neville Landless right enough now.
Edwin will find him. We'll educate the murderous swine.
Right, with any luck, we'll have a hanging for Christmas.
Fetch the dogs! Mr. Jasper! Mr. Jasper! Look what I've discovered!
Why, it's my coat. The one I gave to Edwin last night. It's been torn to ribbons. And blood. Oh God, there's his blood on it. Where did you find this?
Under a rock by the river weir.
My dear boy is murdered. I take this oath before you, Bassett. Record it in your memory, that I shall fasten the crime of murder upon the murderer, and that I devote myself to his destruction.
I shall remember your words,
Mr. John Jasper.
And I believe that's it for you tonight now, isn't it, Philip?
That's right, Bill.
You know, it hardly seems worth your coming down from Knutsford each night now, does it? You seem to specialize in these narrow parts as of late.
Not by choice, Mr. Cartwright.
Right, of course. Let's see, in Julius Caesar, you played the part of...
A senator.
Right. At least you were in for the kill. You know, it hardly makes sense at all that Charles Dickens wrote in your part at all. Unless, of course, he had a more promising future in mind for you.
That's been my solace in the role, Mr. Cartwright.
Of course, one might note that you do understudy Mr. Clive Paget in the role of John Jasper. Surely one of
In
these days...
actuality, Mr. Paget claims never to have missed a performance in his entire career.
Ah. Philip, we're nearly done with the first act here, and the second act is considerably shorter in length. I wonder, might you have a song ready at hand?
Yes.
Yes! Why not?
As a matter of happenstance, Mr. Cartwright, I do have, in common with my role this evening, aspirations as an author, and I've composed a brief song in which I strive underscores the dilemma I share with the character of Bassett I portray. I hesitate to...
Come, Mr. Bassett's title, if you please.
Oh, that. Never the luck, Mr. Cartwright.
Ladies and gentlemen, an unshipable diversion from our journey. An unheard of, and perhaps rightfully so, piece written by Mr. Batts, singing his own Never the Luck.
Never the luck, and never the lead, and never you mind, they say. In time we all taste the lime in the light, and I'll have my night someday. Still, each precious part seems over and done before I've begun to speak. I cast out my line and keep my hand in, but I'll not stand in this week. Some starless night, they'll go towards the wings. Who here dances and sings? That's when yours truly spring, and singing me, then they will cry. Why? He knows each line and everyone's cue. We must let him do the part. I lead center stage, the music will play and waltz my way into your heart.
certain, lad. I'm sure there is some.
Landless, where is Edwin Drood?
Why do you ask me that way?
Because you were the last person in his company, and he is nowhere to be found.
Mayor Sapsy, do you wish to question him?
Yes. You and Edwin Drood departed for the river at what time?
In all honesty, I cannot recall anything of what transpired once Edwin and I reached the river.
What are these bloodstains upon your shirt front and upon your shoes, Mr. Landless?
I acquired these bloodstains, sir, just now when these men of yours dragged me forcibly back from the countryside where I had been walking.
Neville Landless, as acting constable for this district, I place you under arrest.
Where is he? Out of my way! Neville! Neville! How many of them did it take to mar you in this way?
8.
You have an interesting way of the law here in Cloisterham, Mr. Sapsy. And you, Mr. Jasper. For days now you've been warning all Cloisterham of impending violence between your nephew and my brother. What do you know of all this?
Only that my nephew is dead.
Oh, Mayor Sapsy, I warned young Master Neville has no knowledge of Drood beyond that which he has freely volunteered.
And you shall volunteer nothing further, Neville.
I should like to remind you and your brother that there is the issue of murder at hand.
Before you utter that word again, you laughable man, perhaps you'll be good enough to supply a body, a victim, a corpse, something more tangible than an errant nephew, a timorous uncle, and a ludicrous city official who has no backing for his charges beyond pure pomp and sheer circumstance.
Well said, Helena.
She's right, Mr. Sapsy. Without Drood's body, you cannot possibly arrest young Master Neville.
Very well. Release him.
Oh, bless you, Mr. Crisparkle!
Oh, I am overpaid.
I only wish I could express my gratitude without this strange, somewhat geographically untraceable accent.
Yes, well, let's all pause for a moment now, shall we? Here is where matters now lie. Edwin Drood has seemingly vanished and may very well be Clive.
Dead. John Jasper has sworn vengeance upon his nephew's murderer.
Whom most of this populace suspect to be Neville Landless.
But the charges against Neville have been rescinded, thanks to Helena Landless's steely resolve and the support of the kindly
Reverend Mr. Crisparkle, who was once engaged to
Rosa's deceased mother. Though it is hard to know which one should make of...
The drunken stonemason Durdles and his younger president's deputy, not to mention...
The mysteriously motivated purveyor of opium, the Princess Puffer.
Statements to consider during the interval, with one admonition. Should you find yourselves leaping to conclusions without all the relevant information at hand, you may find yourself running off to the races.
Right! Yes, let's all go off to the races!
A spontaneous request! Which brings us, dear friends, rather adroitly, I think, to a song. For what evening at the Music Hall Royale would be complete without its trademark anthem, Off to the Races! Quick conclusions often lead the best of us astray. The wisest move in life is just to wait. Otherwise, our galloping emotions run away like horses at the gate. Off to the races, off to the races, off to the race we go. For what the chase is, and what the pace is, we seldom seem to know.
Men with broken hearts have vowed to never more pursue the member of a soft and savored race.
Savored race!
Firmly anchored to the ground, they suddenly will view our rare and favored face.
Then, off to the races, off to the races, flirting faces, the saving graces, strong eager places, the need for love and all. Don't fall back on your assumptions. gentlemen, thank you and welcome back. A warm round of applause, if you please, for our fully trained orchestra under the cryptic baton of Mr. Thomas Purcell. Pray take your time in resuming your seats, dear ladies. Really, slow down some. It merely means we are all looking at you. Thank you. Incidentally, if you are enjoying our efforts tonight, might I heartily recommend that you return to the venue next week, when the Music Hall Royale shall be putting on its most ingenious and latest efforts, Hamlet, Part 2. Now, dear ladies and gentlemen, before we take the threads of the tangled plot that we left dangling before the interval and attempt to tie them all together, let us, as is tradition here at the Music Hall Royale, unite in a chorus of that sturdy hymn to our beloved and enduring land, England Reigns. Endeavor to date, that of solving, by your vote, shortly to be counted, the mystery of Edwin Drood. 6 months have passed, and English summer is now in progress, and all of Cloisterham is agog with rumor and suspicion. Still, there is to be found no trace of the young Edwin Drood. But there are further developments. 2 inquiring sleuths are about to arrive on the scene, and one being the Princess Puffer, whom you have already met. The other, a detective, a mysterious man, who wears a bulky coat, a fulsome beard, and the name of Dick Datchery. I said the name of Dick Datchery.
Right.
These apparent strangers approach with grand expectations and great intentions, which, might I add, we shall be presenting in Brighton next season. And, as do we, they are about to arrive at Cloisterham Station. Cloistrom Station. Note that among the many curious souls of Cloistrom, none are more curious than our two inspiring flutes.
I'm on the track of a man in black. He disappeared. He saw the smoke clear.
The scent of a resident. I'll track them well. Inspect the personnel. I'm led upon the dark chase.
Who's there gone without a trace?
This is a private investigation. Just where the Drood depart and wherefore artist destination. It's a private investigation. He vanished into air. He vanished where no creation. It's a private. Where the Drood depart and wherefore artist destination. It's a private investigation. The Drood has gone now beyond my estimation.
I'm hearing quiet scrutinize.
I'm steering by pursuing lies. I clearly spy with my side private
Ah, Reverend, there you are. All things bright and beautiful this evening, aren't they?
Ah, yes, as if the stars were mere punctures in the ceiling of the earth, through which heaven's light can be seen. Or something along those lines. I only wish my assistant Bassett, who is away on business, could see a night such as this.
So that I said, that's no lady. That's my... Hold on there, boy. There's a face we haven't seen before. Welcome to Cloistrom, Captain. I'm sort of an official greeter for anyone may have the price of a bottle of wine on. The name's Daedalus.
The name's Datchery. Dick Datchery. And I was wondering if any lodgings could be found in these parts.
Oh, I'm sure of it, Miss Datchery.
Something architectural and out of the way. Inconvenient.
There are plenty of inconvenient lodgings here in Cloistrom.
Close to the cathedral as well.
Excuse me. I couldn't help but overhearing. The only lodgings I know of your specifications are that of the lodgings above the rooms of Mr. John Jasper. He's a great admirer of my own.
Ah, is that the fellow who has been well afflicted with the loss of his nephew, Edwin Drood?
Wait on, boy. This much afflicted fellow, John Jasper, is he always dressed in mourning these days?
Yep, that's the man, and you won't catch me going near him again.
And why is that, boy?
Because I am going to be lifted off my legs and choked again.
I find that very interesting. I shall enjoy watching the comings and goings of these towns.
That man ought to speak with his tailor.
Hello, do you know a Mr. John Jasper?
Oh, are you ill?
No, miss. I always look this way.
You've both been guilty of neglecting your music lessons. When shall we resume?
Never, sir.
Am I politely being told you've abandoned your studies altogether?
The politeness is yours, not mine. I beg not to be questioned. I will not answer any more. At least I have that in my power.
I do not forget how many eyes command a view of us, but you shall hear me, even against your wishes, dearest Rosa, charming Rosa. Even when my dear boy was engaged to you, I loved you madly, and I hid our secret loyalty, did I not?
You were as false to him, sir, daily and hourly, as you are now. You know you made me afraid to open his kind eyes to the truth, that you are a bad, bad man.
How beautiful you are. You are more beautiful in anger than in repose. I don't ask for your love. Give me your hatred, that pretty rage, that enchanting scorn. It will be enough for me. I warn you, sweet witch, rare charmer. You must stay and do more harm than can be undone.
You're mad!
I mean to show you how mad my love is.
Love? You dare use that word?
Yes.
Love is but a word that wandered here from pastor's wing, where it was rarely said or seen and seldom sung. Innocent enough it was intended to be used on rare occasions, not abused by every tongue. Rarely has a word been ever taken so in vain, but little meaning might remain simply blurred. Never has there been so quite exhausted such a term of silence syllables confirm how plain this word. You call it love. I call it brute.
You call it brute.
I call it love. I call it blue.
A bit too crude.
I think it's cruel.
And I am fool.
I cannot bear.
Still I dare to call it love.
I think it's foul. I think it's vile.
You see me smile.
No more I'll take.
To you I'll break.
I'll cut and die.
I no deny.
No worse than bad.
My words are mad.
You give to say.
I speak them in the name of love.
Rose about the dainty little face, whose every curve confirms that she's a child, a girl in me a fight. Rose is the only soul enclosed around, it seems, who senses just the sort of dreams you dream at night. Did you think you stared at sunlight, seeing every fiber of my being, told me since I was betrothed that your most unnatural attention, hundreds words I dare not mention, you must know how much I love to know your wants,
My wants.
see your clutch,
I not clutch.
to hear your voice,
You have no choice.
to feel your touch,
Is it so much?
a dreadful touch, to read and scream.
I only seek the name of love.
I will not fear. I try to fly.
The angry bunch
I have a
of your
choice.
fair force.
I'll take to flight.
On blazing
I
nights.
will not want
You will submit.
You to desecrate.
I give your faith the name of love. The name of love.
The name of love.
The name of love.
The name of love.
The name of love.
The name of love.
The name of love.
Well, I've just overheard something. Yes, and it's one of the very bits of information I came here for.
Does that mean you're leaving Colostrum already?
Not bloody likely. I didn't come this far to turn back with but one piece of the puzzle in my hand. I've never, in my wretched life, been this close to getting anything I set about after. More the fool I'd be to turn back just when I'm winning. I've never understood those in life who ease up just when they should push on. Once I bet we lost 10 pence and one. Twice as good, then friend said, calm down some more. How sad, I said, so that's your wildest dream again. 20 pence instead of 10. I doubled up my bet again. In life we start the same as when you're done. If you lose, you're just where you begun. If you won, don't quit while you're ahead. Just press your blessed luck instead.
Don't try to think what route might be the best. Use the heart that beats within your breast. Never rest. Don't quit while you're ahead. Say out, there's more in store for me.
I see my dream ship finally coming in like a steamship, anchoring into wind.
Lift your chin. Remember what I said. Don't quit while you're ahead. Let go. I know there must be love that gets to be only just 3 weeks away from me. Don't quit while you're ahead. Don't worry how you tread. Yes.
There's a chance, one pipe dream that is mine, a romance, quite ripe upon the vine.
Don't resign.
No victor of the flame,
Don't quit while you're ahead. To stay tarring around. Bang your passion through, rain around. Bang your passion through, rock and roll. Don't quit while you're ahead. Say your hopes are bent farewell.
Well, I know. Don't let the moment go to waste. Not risk victory because the heart to taste. Leave the cloud of love to haste.
For God's own sake. So raise us in you. Lucky days that are great. Any lucky shade of fate. Don't quit while you're ahead. Using all the circles we
Encore maestro, s'il vous plaît.
Out, now, out, lost. We see the slightest glimmering of light. White, shine within the danger of night. So long have we been blind, but finally we unwind the plot. The truth is this: we find
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it was at this point in our story in which Charles Dickens laid down his pen forever. And so, this is all we shall ever know for certain about the mystery of Edwin Drood. Tonight, however, ladies and gentlemen, at least within the confines of this theatre, we shall together finish, conclude, and resolve the mystery of Edwin Drood. One minor mystery we can solve immediately, though it has little to do with the plot at hand. You see, most literary experts agree. that Dick Datchery is actually someone we have already met, a character from Act 1 who has been roaming Cloistrum in hopes of discovering the murderer of the dear Edwin Drood. As many of you have already guessed, the part has been taken thus far this evening by none other than that master and mistress of male impersonation, Miss Alice Nutting. However, this does not mean that Edwin Drood is Dick Datchery. Oh, no, far from it. You see, the reason for Miss Nutting's portrayal this evening is that, well, she was contracted to appear in both acts of our show, and the Music Hall Royale believes in an honest week's work for an honest day's pay, if you catch my drift. Which brings us, dear ladies and gentlemen, to our first question of the evening. Is Edwin Drood dead or alive? Mr. Charles Dickens experimented with many titles for our beloved show. For example,
The Loss of Edwin Drood.
The Flight of Edwin Drood.
The disappearance of Edwin Drood.
but nowhere the death or murder of Edwin Drood. On the other hand, some may say a mystery without a murder is hardly a mystery at all. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight our question shall be answered primarily by you. But in a daring and perhaps dangerously democratic move, the Music Hall Royale has decided to grant our company the privilege upon voting upon one key issue each night. And so, my fellow acolytes of the thespianatic persuasion, your question tonight shall be, Mr. Thurtle?
Is Edwin Drood dead or alive? Miss Alice Nutting, who has a vested interest in the outcome, will kindly turn her back to the cast now. Now, gentlemen, ladies, as your invitation this evening, all of those who believe that Edwin Drood is dead, please raise your hand. Thank you. And now, all of those who believe that Edwin Drood is alive, please do the same now also. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Miss Nutting. It appears you've snuffed it. By a massive majority, I fear. Which brings us, dear ladies and gentlemen, to our next key question tonight. Mr. Thortle?
Who is the detective, Dick Datchery?
Well, we can safely eliminate Edwin Drood from the running, as he has just been voted dead for the remainder of the evening.
Dead! Ha! And bloody ha! Ha! You envious little twit. It is obvious to everyone here that Drood, that I am Datchery. It is even more transparent that this petty John's cause bitterly resents the attention I get from the local press. Goodbye all! As my wicked imbeciles!
Miss Nutting! Miss Nutting, I really... You have no idea the week we've had with her. First, her dressing room was too small. Then her mustache was far too long. I told her she was splitting hairs. But, in all fairness to our cast and to our production, I must strenuously point out that many literary experts disagree with Miss Nutting's contention that Edwin Drood is Dick Datchery. For example, we have plenty of other candidates for the face behind Datchery's beard. For example, I give you Helena Landless. About her, never revealed in Act 1.
In desperation, Helena tried on more than one occasion to flee her stepfather's cruel and miserly hand, even disguising herself as a boy.
A hit, a palpable hit. But is it a meaningful thrust? Or a misdirection? Wouldn't Helena Landless be fearful of John Jasper under the given circumstances?
Not under any circumstances.
But the candidates hardly end there. What say you of Bassett?
I love the theatrical world, but there are many stages beyond the proscenium. I long to play a larger part.
Who more likely to don such melodramatic garb? Why otherwise does he appear in our story at all?
From my earliest remembrances, I have been secret and revengeful.
Who more likely to investigate than he most suspected of foul play? Or did someone else wish to clear Neville's name?
Neville has been entrusted to my care.
Ah, the Reverend Mr. Chris Sparkle, whose energy and passions lay hidden beneath his clerical garb. Could he have adopted yet another disguise so as to clear the name of the lad who had been entrusted in his care? And finally, that leaves us with the puzzling and intriguing possibility of Rosa.
Rosa!
underestimated the resourcefulness of this woman child. Could she have taken it upon herself to investigate the disappearance of her beloved Edwin Drood? Looks can be deceiving.
I'll say.
This much I do know for certain. Dick Datchery is not the Princess Papa, John Jasper, Durgle's deputy, or even my own Mayor Snapsy, for they all appeared, both in our show and in Mr. Dickens's novel, on the scene together. They were seen in each other's company. Which leaves us, dear ladies and gentlemen, with the following candidates for the role of Datchery tonight. And might I suggest that we do this the way it is done in amateur theatrical companies, when the hat is held above the head of the candidate you most like. Pray applaud for them as they are selected for our Datchery tonight. And might I remind you, ladies and gentlemen, we have larger decisions yet to come. Soon we must find who murdered our dear Edwin Drood. And so, please, don't merely vote for whichever cast member is a distant cousin of yours. Mr. Throttle, if you please.
The underrated Mr. Bassett. The lovely Miss Rosa Budd. The ecstatic, ecclesiastic Reverend Chris Bockel. All the way from Ceylon, Mr. Neville Landless. Or the tempestuous Miss Helena Landless.
Dear God, do you not know how to decide in this place? Mr. Throttle, I haven't the slightest. What do you think?
I believe it was a tie between Chris Bockel and Helena.
Well then, if you two may step forward, please, and may we have a revote. Mr. Throttle?
Helena. Chris Bockel.
And the Reverend Chris Bockel it is. I suggest you make a speedy change of costume. I can see many members of the audience more than willing to assist you in the process. Which brings us, dear ladies and gentlemen, to a far more pressing matter.
Excuse me.
Miss Nutting. What? Alice? Really? Miss Nutting, where on earth are you going? Ladies and gentlemen, please yourselves, but I must apologize for this bit of unpleasantry and what has been otherwise, I'm sure you'll agree, a completely flawless evening. You see, such appalling behavior is due entirely to upbringing. Her parents were in the iron and steel business. Mother irons, father steels. Oh, you mean to say you didn't like that one? Well then, let's see. She was once known as the orthopedic soprano. She sang in all the joints. Which brings us, dear ladies and gentlemen, to a far more pressing matter. For now, as in all great mystery stories, we must find ourselves a killer, a culprit, a fiend. In short, we must find out who murdered the late, departed, dear, lamented title character of our show, Edwin Drood. Oh, shut up! One more like that out of all of you, and we'll send you all back to the Salvation Army where you came from. We'll have you all out in the rain singing, Jesus wants me for a sunbeam. Who killed Edwin Drood? Who shall be our murderer tonight? First, for your consideration, dear ladies and gentlemen, I give you the most obvious villain of the piece, Mr. Clyde Paget as John Jasper. Oh, come now! Ladies and gentlemen, do you not know that here at the Music Hall Royale we boo and hiss the villain? No, it's far too late for that now. We'll have to do the whole thing over again. Step back. We are going to do this until we get it right. And let's see, if you don't, I'll have you all stand up here and form a line and sing 83 courses of The Church Bell Won't Ring Tonight because the victor's got the clapper. We will ruin your evening. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, last chance I give you the most obvious villain of the piece, Mr. Clyde Paget as John Jasper. Come now, ladies and gentlemen, let's do be serious. I ask you, is this the face of a murderer? Yes. Well, more importantly, could this be all there is to the mystery of Edwin Drood? that John Jasper, in a fleeting attempt to win the love of the fair Miss Rosa Budd, killed his nephew. Well, where then the mystery? Ha! That's taken the wind out of your sails, big nose, now hasn't it? Where then the mystery? Where indeed? So how stand you for the obvious answer for a more perplexing solution? Certain cast members can be eliminated from the running of Murderer tonight. For example, young deputy and my own Mayor Sapsy were clearly intended for merely comic relief and never intrigued very closely in the lives of the other candidates. And so, dear ladies and gentlemen, I give you the following cast members. And might I suggest that for the sake of accuracy, we vote by show of hands. If we all just bring up the house lights now and we can... Oh dear God! Has this been what I've been dealing with tonight? No matter, you'll see that certain cast members are circulating among you now to count your vital votes.
Helena Landis, did I try to save my brother from harm to Edwin Drood?
Or me, Rosa Budd. Why would someone as innocent and pure as I murder my own true Ned?
The Princess Puffer. Who am I and what am I?
Neville Landis. In all honesty, I cannot recall anything of what transpired once Edwin and I reached the river. But it was an odious little twit, and he got what he deserved.
Yes. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than give Drood a frontal lobotomy.
Basil, my need for attention has made me quite mad. Someone stop me before I sing again.
Thank you very much. John Jasper, I have stood in the cold shade of suspicion since our story began.
Time, ladies and gentlemen, time at last to decide. Again, for the sake of accuracy, let us vote by a show of hands. You'll see that our cast members are around you now to count your vital votes. Ladies and gentlemen, our murderer has been decided. And so that our cast member knows that he or she shall be the murderer, I'm going to offer them a sip of port. And so that your final denouncement may come as a complete surprise, I strenuously suggest that you close your eyes. Tightly. Pray close your eyes then.
Hey, no cheating! Close your eyes! Close your eyes!
Thank you. I am offering the port. Very well, then you all may open your eyes. It appears you can trust no one tonight at the Music Hall Royale. And so, dear ladies and gentlemen, as our cast departs backstage, where your votes are now being counted, I only caution you prepare for a few more twists and turns as we serpentine towards the conclusion of the mystery of Edwin Drood. Drum roll, if you please. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, now we shall conclude, at long last, by your vote, the mystery of Edwin Drood. Chapter in Mr. Dickens's novel was entitled The Dawn. Perhaps not coincidentally, the last chapter he wrote before he died was entitled The Dawn Again. And so, dear ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our final chapter in our show, let us begin in the cold, gray tendrils of an English dawn.
Bloody freezing again, yeah, missus?
What is it?
Can you spare 3 and 6 for a Christian soul in distress?
Oh, we're both Christian souls in distress, I fear. I have little more than 3 and 6 to get me to London.
Running away from something?
Yes, at long last, yes. And now I must...
Rosa.
How on earth could you know my name?
No. I've only known you since the day you were born. Only bathed you and fed you. Don't look at me, Rosa. I don't want you to see me this way. But can you remember your nanny, Rosa? Some 12 years ago. Will you look at me now, my own darling girl, and see your nan instead?
Nan? I was 6. And then you weren't there anymore.
You do remember. God love you. You never really knew your mother, did you? I was the closest thing to that for you.
But why did you leave me?
It's a sad story, Rosa. But a common one, I fear. I was once your nan, when I met a man, tall and old, with golden hair. He's where I am again. I let him have his way with me. He knew his way so well. Strolled me down the garden path to hell. Marriage in the head. What I got instead was a bed in Camden Town, and then to me he said, should I send around a friend, be nice to him this well, strolled him down your garden path to hell. Maze of hedges that tickle you, couldn't draw the men. So I learned to trade and earned my keep with drugs, and then found myself a wicked shelf where opium I sang. Here's a pipe for you, sir. Price is 5 and 2, sir. And you see the garden, such a lovely garden. I'll take you there. I know the path so well to my child, my own. I'm deep ashamed you went through life alone. And yet despite my dreadful fall from grace, I never once forgot your name or face. When I see him being a client of mine, began to rave and crave some laudanum wine. And as he drank his cup of Satan's blood, he made the great mistake of crying Now it's one thing for them like me to mingle with the likes of he. We are thirsty for God's love, slay and blood. But how comes this man to cry out, Rosabud? Well, I can't seem to clear, but I followed him here, finding out who was who. I've come back a time or two, then last night tracking me was this Mr. Datchery. So I follow his tracks to the lodgings in the back, where I hate to confess, well, I watched this man undress, and I saw sudden eyes throughout his full disguise. Took a quick change of robes and a mind even quicker. Dick Datchery was the vicar.
Yes, it is I. My conscience is clear. I've donned a frock before, but never a beard. Dead now is Datchery, for none a whip. We can dispense with flashlights for him. There once was a man who was dressed in a clerical collar and vest. And if anyone knew he had feelings like you, they'd reply to him, surely you jest. Parishioners take great offense to us priests who would like to be jets. We can consecrate wisely of these our thine, but we mustn't take hold of events. It was a bold revolution, turning my collar around. Seeking this puzzle solution, finding what was to be found. I was out on a luring, out on a luring, out on a luring. A theatrical kit, and as Datchery I did my bit. So to clear my good name and confess my shame, it was for Helena too, I admit. I followed John Jasper high-low, found the Dead Sea descends to be low, and when Papa came here, 'twas immediately clear my suspicions were quite apropos. So I crept in the lodgings of Jasper, dressed in this garb, what a sight! There I found Rosabud's clasp, her mother she gave Drood that night. Jasper took it from there after hurling him dead in a wet river there, I suppose. Datchery knows, and the proof is quite clear. Let us bring Jasper here to be tried and then tied up and strung. And from this limerick, let him be hung.
I wished it to blessed is he who hides himself, resides himself when I have no eyes to see. But now I think he's at the brink of breaking through the door. I'm in. He's out. I'm out. He's free. I'm free. I'm me once more. How many times I killed that Drood upon my flights. My flights that burst the smug presumption of his rights. His rights as heir, his rights to share my rose's bed. It took no smoke for me to picture Edwin dead. I filled myself a flask of laudanum, and to toast my Ned and Neville I drank some. That's when my greatest flight of fancy did take place. I watched my hand outstretched toward Edwin's pale white face, and in the moonfall I saw my fingers clutching his neck so tightly, touching my sleeve, he fell so lightly. Moonfall then fell on me. But God, the deed was much too easily done. As much as over once it had begun, such tragedy to finally make the kill, and on to awake to taste the thrill. Now I've confessed. Now we both can rest.
No, I can't let it happen. Yes, you placed the coat the young Edwin Drood wore that night down by the where the suspicion of the young Neville Landless. You're a bad one, Mr. Jasper, especially when the evil one is inside you. But you're not a murderer. You didn't kill Edwin Drood.
Durdles, are you saying he didn't kill his nephew?
Exactly. It was a wild night that Christmas Eve, you remember, your lordship, and I sought shelter under Mr. Jasper's door. That's when I saw one among us throttle dear Edwin Drood. In a convenient flash of lightning, I saw who it was. Whew. I was quite a long speech, Bill. Think I could have a quick cup of port?
Durdles!
Right. I saw Mr. Jasper leave his home, collapsing under the influence of quite potent medicine. He picked up dear Edwin Drood, carried him through the mausoleum down to the crypts, depositing the body right in Miss Sapsey's tomb. What? Well, I told you there was plenty of room in there.
But Durdles, you must tell us, who did this?
Lord love me, it was the Princess Puffer.
Lord have mercy, your forgiveness do I need. My string of sins ends here with this most dreadful deed. I only meant to save my Rosebud, it's true. Monster Jasper! Yes, I meant to murder you. Could I see my Rosebud threatened by this man of massive sin? He'd reveal his vile desires, so I had to do him in. To my endless ruination, I took smoke to see me through. In my sweet hallucination, I saw Drood and thought him you. So I say to all who hear me, you must plan a murder world. You must view your victim clearly as you send him off to hell. When I killed was well intended. Drink and smoke what did me in. For my chores Once more, please. Thank you.
And there, ladies and gentlemen, is your murderer tonight! But certainly we are entitled to a happy ending. All of us seek that one thing in life we call love, romance, or at this hour, any reasonable facsimile thereof. And so, dear ladies and gentlemen, as a final question tonight, we shall ask of you, which of our remaining cast members shall fall in love? On the distaff side, we have remaining the fair Miss Rosabud or the tempestuous Helena Landis. Pray applaud when the hat is held above her head. Rosabud! Helena Landis. Helena Landis it is. And we have a couple of well-heeled bachelors left. Pray applaud for which you are soon to be in love with them. Neville Landis. The Reverend Chris Barker. Why do we bother finishing? Girls! Deputy. Bassett. John Jasper. We're done with that now. Mr. Throttle, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was a tie between Bassett and Neville. Come forward, if you please, gentlemen. Forward. We vote yet again. Bassett. Neville. Aren't you lucky? Ladies and gentlemen, your decision has been made, and I fear we're stuck with it. Mr. Purcell, a reprise, if you will. I fear we are about to have a love song.
Never. The perversity of nature and of this audience tonight has somehow made me incestuously drawn to you. Perhaps you could learn to love me like a brother.
Helena, I am your brother. I suppose we should give this depraved English clique what they desire. You wicked blackguards.
Once we were first.
I find I now adore you. How blessed as yet to be.
It seems I've long to hold you. It rooted so.
You love me so, babe, to hold you.
Let's not resist this ending.
Once we have kissed, pretending takes no skill. The strangeness makes me
that. But what of the dear Edwin Drood? Could he speak to us from the grave? What would he tell us? What would he say?
Behind me is where I face my closest shame. When I struck my head against the street, I was stunned, awe-stricken. I thought dust thickened as Jasper threw me off my feet. To the grit, I awoke.